But yes, so that's white tea, golden tips, and that's what it looks like dry. That's my presentation. Right?
So I'm gonna sit down. I'll get you guys a picture.
Okay.
Get you guys.
So these teas are all organic, and they're from Kenya, a beautiful organic plantation on the hills, Nandi Hills in Kenya. And so I am going to talk about my partnership with, this is my partner, her name is Caroline, and she owns the plantation, the tea farm, I shouldn't call it plantation, a tea farm in Kenya, and she's been recognized by the United Nations because she is one of the very few, if not the only tea owner. It's a social enterprise because she hires women who, they're smallholder tea, so they have small acreage, but she pays them a living wage. And so the United Nations has recognized her for how she treats her farmers. So now that's the end of the story. I'm going to reverse engineer, okay, if that's okay. So my relationship with her began with my tea relationship. And first I want to welcome everybody. And I want to thank you, Judge B, for inviting me to talk about my tea world. Okay, so yeah, I am in the tea business. My company is known for wellness teas as well as sustainable and accessories. So the way I got into this wellness world in the first place, I want you to be able to see me too, is my tea story began in 2006, February one morning. I woke up covered in red marks from head to toe. I had no idea what it was. I was working corporate America then, life was a little stressful, but not to the point where I would wake up covered from my head to my feet and lesions. I had no idea what that was, but it was extremely painful. If my head hurt, I was just really traumatized. It was so bad that I could barely get up and walk to the bathroom. Literally, my legs were hurting, everything was hurting. It took me probably 10 minutes to inch my way to the bathroom to see what I looked like. Of course, I was horrified when I saw what my face looked like. But then I was more horrified at the prospect of having to walk back to my bed because it was so painful. So I laid there, in excruciating pain for about a day or two because I couldn't even imagine really getting the strength to go to the doctor. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, where you're just so sick in bed that you can't even muster up the strength to go to the doctor. But I had to because things weren't getting any better. So I started out by going to my family doctor who, to see if he could help me figure out what was going on, and he couldn't. He had no idea, so he started sending me to specialists. The first one he sent me to was a dermatologist. It made sense because I was covering all these bumps. A dermatologist had no idea what was going on, so my next specialist was a rheumatologist because they said, well, maybe you have an autoimmune like lupus or something. But they couldn't pinpoint that. So my next doctor was a neurologist. And I have no idea why I ended up there, but nobody had an answer. So I had to come home and lay in bed and be miserable because they couldn't figure it out. So in comes my little brother, Donald. Now, my brother, at that time, he was, he was in his early 30s. But he convinced me to go see his herbalist. He had a Chinese herbalist that he visited with. So, and I'm going to tell you his story, why I knew that he knew what he was talking about. So he took me to this old doctor who practiced traditional Chinese medicine, and his name is Dr. Dang. And he had a cute little storefront downtown, very, really, it was an industry kind of place, or discreet kind of place. So as soon as I sat down with Dr. Dang, I just burst into tears. I was in so much pain, I was frustrated and scared. And do you know, within a few moments, he took my wrist and he felt the blood, which I understand he was checking my meridians. And within a few minutes, he started writing down something. And what he did was create a special tea made of herbs and plants and sticks, and it tasted like old tobacco. It was really bad. It was probably the worst tea I ever tasted. But so he gave me that, and then he also gave me a list of things to eat, things to not eat, and within 2 weeks, I was completely cured. I didn't know what it was, but not only that, I felt amazing, and I had lost 15 pounds. So I was convinced. I'm like, okay, that's the route. I'm telling you, all only 99 then.
Oh, no.
So I've been trying to get people to go ever since. So his wife is trying to, she
Okay.
tried to pick up the ball, right?
You see how this is? This is like, this is like the crack dealer who sells you crack.
Oh, yeah,
After you get hooked, and then he starts giving to you for free. And
it was not cheap. I think it was like $700, $800, but he was worth every penny.
Okay.
So his wife did her best to hold down. So I'm sure he died. But we started going, a few years later, we kept trying to get someone, take people there. She's like, oh, he's in the back room. He's in the back. I'm sure he was long gone.
He was gone.
Yeah, but she was trying to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah.
So that was my first introduction to holistic, health and natural remedies. I just, from that point on, I just realized, okay, this is something I really need to pursue. I need to study it because it did the trick. So now I want to just give you a quick story about my brother and why I believed him when he took me to Dr. Dane. So when Donald was 30, he was working downtown, oil and gas, and he had a stroke. He just fell out, and it was just so amazing. So of course, when he ended up in the hospital, we found out that he had been living with excruciating headaches for many years, not telling anybody. And most of you know, our community, the Black community, we get used to living in pain and discomfort. That's what we do. We just look at it as a way of life. So that's what he had been doing. And by the time he did get some medical help, we found out he had extreme high blood pressure.
Wow.
Needless to say, he was in complete renal failure.
Oh.
So at 30 years old, he had a young son. He ended up going on dialysis. That's 3 hours a day, 3 days a week,
Oh my
for
God.
years. So during that time, we knew that was his life. But then somehow he contracted this really bizarre sickness, and it might have been a side effect from we don't know, it could have been a side effect from the dialysis, but he got something called Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Oh yeah.
And so that attacks your nervous system. So what that did was destroyed his motor skills. He lost all, so he couldn't brush his teeth or take a bath or anything without help. And when I would pick him up, I literally would put him on my back, because they only weighed probably 90 pounds. And I put him in his wheelchair, and that is what we did. That was 3 times a week. That's how he was living his life. Well, when he went to the doctor again, they told him Guillain-Barré is irreversible. It's not curable. So he wasn't ready to live with that reality. He was a father of a young child, and so someone introduced him to Dr. Dane. That's how he found. And Dr. Dane was someone else had.
Introduce you to
Yeah, so he found Dr. Dane through somebody who he knew.
before you.
This was before me.
Okay.
So I'm kind of backtracking,
Okay, got
just to
it.
let you know why I trusted him.
I got it.
So Dr. Dane was so effective with Donald that, let me just say, he's 53 now, and he has 2 toddlers. Okay, so that's pretty remarkable.
He came back.
Poor guy. Yeah, that was a real comeback. So yeah, he was still dealing with dialysis then, but thank God, when he was 45, he was able to get a kidney transplant. But think about this, if he hadn't been cured of the Guillain-Barré, he wouldn't have the strength to go to the surgery. So it all came together. And I'm gonna give you
So
one.
Dr. Dane helped him with the Guillain-Barré syndrome?
That's what he cured the Guillain-Barré, and then, so because he did that, Donald was strong enough to have surgery for the transplant. Yeah, so otherwise he wouldn't have been able to have that surgery, and he probably wouldn't be here now because he was on 15 years on dialysis. Yeah, so there's only, I think that's probably, a shelf life for that. And he was so skinny too, so that didn't help. One more story about myself. And the only reason I'm giving you these stories is to kind of, to illustrate why I believe so strongly about tea, healing teas, and other natural remedies. I have been dealing with a really bad stomach problem, digestive problem. Don't know why, but everything I ate made me sick. It gave me horrible stomach aches for ages. And it was really taking over my life. So I ended up going to a very well-known gastroenterologist. And so he did all the usual tests, he tried everything, and he said, you know what, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't have any allergies, you don't have celiac disease. I don't know, try this medicine, let's see if this works. He said, don't be alarmed when your urine is neon yellow, that's okay. So I went ahead and got my prescription filled, and when I read the insert, one of the side effects was potential liver damage.
Oh,
So I had to decide, okay, can I live with a stomach ache or can I live with a damaged liver?
Oh.
I chose to live with a stomach ache. And then again, my little sister introduced me to another holistic healer, but she was a kinesiologist and a Reiki healer. And so I went to her and she just did a muscle test on me. She'll put certain supplements on your stomach and somehow your body reacts. I don't know how it works. But she said, well, the only thing you need is hydrochloric acid. Your stomach is not producing enough acid to digest the food. So it was just sitting there making me sick. Do you know that was life-changing? From that was, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, all I had to do was take 2 supplements with my food and I was fine. So that is, I'm only telling you that it kept validating how natural holistic healing can work, how your body can heal itself. So now I'm gonna get to the tea business. Okay. So 2018, my husband and I decided we wanted to go into the entrepreneur world. He was gonna have a business and I was gonna have a business. So we were looking for something that would resonate with me. He kept bringing me these different businesses. I wasn't feeling it. But then You Endure came available. And so when he brought that to me, I got very excited. I thought, oh my God, absolutely. Because I know I could do something with that since tea was my new life. So what happened, so we ended up getting it. When I got You Endure, it just had 2 green teas and 2 tea accessories. There's a picture right there, that bottle. So I said, okay, I can build with that. So I took from between 2018 and today, I've got about 20 teas and 4 or 5 new sustainable accessories. Because to me, it's important to respect the earth, respect the environment, along with respecting your body. So organic, I only do organic and I only like to do sustainable things. And Judge B will tell you, tea literally is something that you should spend your life, you should really have every day.
Every day.
Every day. So what happened was, one of the things I do at my company is I'm always looking for new teas. I'm always looking for something special for my customers because they're like my family. And I love my customers. And I'm always trying to do something really special for them. So somehow I came across purple tea. I don't remember where it came from, but I kept seeing it. I said, okay, that's something really unique. And every time I would Google purple tea, this company would pop up. And it was just a natural search. It wasn't like an ad. I would say, okay, there's something to that. So one night, it's late, like a Friday night, 12:30, it's my husband and I are sitting there talking, and I keep talking about the purple tea, because I was obsessed with getting the purple tea. So I said, I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to this company, even though they were in Africa, it was a long shot, I'm like, what the heck? So I emailed them, and he said, wait till Monday, it's the weekend. I'm like, Now, sometimes you gotta listen to that little voice in your head and do what you wanna do. So I went ahead and sent them an email that Friday night, and next morning, it was Saturday morning, I woke up, there was an email from this lovely, beautiful email, and I was so touched that I burst into tears. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get to realize one of my dreams sooner than later. I didn't think I'd be able to do business with Africa. It would be that simple. So she and I had our first meeting, and she's just the most lovely person in the world. And we talked about bringing tea over to the U.S. because it was very little known. How many people have heard of purple tea before? Anybody? Thank you. Okay, that's more than the last group I had. But that's great. And so a lot of people think it's butterfly pea tea, but it's very different. It's very different. So she sent me 2 samples. She sent me the purple and she sent me the white tea. Now I've had white tea, but I never had white tea golden tips. And it's a very exotic, it was so delicious that I'm like, okay, I gotta carry both of them. And the relationship we had is she gave me exclusive rights to be the only distributor of her tea here in the U.S.
Right.
And then, I was blessed this year. I got 2 awards. I got a congressional award for doing international business, and I also got an award through the Houston International Trade Development Council for my relationship with her. So thank you. So now I can literally say You Endure is an award-winning tea company. I was wanting to say that so bad.
And what about your woman-owned brand?
And my certification.
Yes.
I love her. That's my friend Tammy. So earlier this year year I got certified as certified woman-owned through the Women's Business Enterprise Council. Thank you. And we bank, we bank. Thank you, because that was huge. Yeah, that was huge. And just thank you. It's been a great year. It really has, because also one of the things I do is create private brands. So artist Charles Washington, some of you might know him. So we created a tea together, and then of course Queen Cora. And then Queen Cora and I ended up on Deborah Duncan's show back in October. That was fun. And so yeah, and then also Houston Life is a local show. They actually featured the purple tea this time last year. It was almost exactly this time last year. So that being said, let me tell you some of the things that purple tea is good for.
This is important now.
White tea is also amazing. It's full of catechins, which are everything with purple tea and white tea they help build your immune system. And if you know anything about inflammation, that's what causes all kinds of diseases like cancer and diabetes. So it's important to have tea, which is very high antioxidant. So let me give you, bless you, a couple of things that purple tea is good for. It helps provide anti-cancer benefits because it builds your immune system so strong. It inhibits the growth of cancer cells. It's because it's helping with anti-inflammatory. It helps prevent and manage diabetes, and it lowers your blood sugar and lowers your cholesterol as well. It enhances eye health, but so does white tea. There are a lot of teas that do, and every tea is healthy. It's just some of them are more powerful. So this one happens to be even more powerful than green tea. And green tea, I've been touting that for, 8 years. It stimulates weight loss because it helps speed up your metabolism. So I've been drinking.
I already got all this.
Yes. It has a very low caffeine content, so it won't make you jittery.
Is that less than green tea?
It has a little less than green tea. No, green tea has more caffeine than purple tea.
Okay.
And the white tea has a tiny bit, even less than the purple. It has a very earthy, woody,
Natural.
which one is that?
The smaller cups is the purple tea. The ones that we don't.
No, let me see. That looks like.
That's the purple tea.
Oh, that's the purple
We
tea.
just poured it.
Oh, no, that one has agave nectar in it.
It's natural, it's already.
No, I added.
You added it.
And I like to use agave because it has a low glycemic. So if you are dealing with blood sugar, you're okay with that.
Okay.
Yes, no, I wish it were natural.
I was about to say.
No.
She will tell you the first time that I brewed the purple
Yeah.
tea, I overbrewed it because it was so light in color.
You're
I
waiting
kept
for it to
waiting
turn
for it to
purple.
steep and turn purple, and so I brewed it so long it got bitter.
Yeah.
And so it almost tastes like green tea when
It's
you
tricky.
overbrew it.
Yeah, and
So you just brew it the normal amount of time, the 4
Yes.
minutes,
Yeah.
and then it comes out like this.
And see, that's pretty good, because I usually do 2 minutes.
Ah.
I am very cautious about bitter.
I got you. I got you.
And so that one, when you can, on the can, it literally says 3 to 5 minutes. So I put a little sticker that says 2 minutes, just so that, and then you can always build on it if it's not strong enough. But it has that earthy, fruity flavor. Now I put lime in mine, and I just drink it every day, like throughout all. I have a couple of customers who told me during COVID that that's what they took. They blended my green tea and the purple tea, and it really just gave them a powerhouse of antioxidants.
Yeah.
And it sped up
It
the
helps your
healing.
immune system a
It
lot.
definitely helps your immune system. I mean, I drank it, the green I actually did through COVID, and I never got sick. Not fun, oh my God. Not fun tomorrow. Excuse me, not fun tomorrow. So, it boosts your skin and scalp health. And again, it has very little calorie content. Now, one thing I did do is, because that's just my tea, but every tea, all the teas have so many wonderful qualities. So like green tea is like the superstar, it really is, you know. And then black tea, which is the original, that has always been, tea, as you know, is the healthiest drink in the world. The second most consumed after water. Tea literally is the healthiest drink in the world. Yes.
With that southern tea that we drink,
Which one?
that southern sweet tea.
Yeah.
All that sugar.
I thought I was doing something when I was drinking the Arizona.
Arizona
green tea.
tea.
I used to love that.
I know,
But it was
no.
so sweet.
No.
Oh, yeah, 15
Yeah.
No Chick-fil-A.
So, hibiscus tea, I don't know if you guys know this, but hibiscus tea it's great for lowering your blood pressure. So just one quick anecdote. My mother was 89 years old. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She has weaned herself off of her blood pressure medicine and off her cholesterol medicine through tea. She's 89. But she listens to her doctor, but she listens to herself more. So anyone who's, I think I've got one for everybody.
The first one.
So this will give you an idea of what teas do what for. Like mulberry is great for diabetes. So my mulberry tea, okay. And I've got more, if you need more.
Oh, no. This is the
it's
original.
amazing. So hibiscus blood pressure, mulberry diabetes, let me see, cholesterol. Green tea is great for cholesterol. Burdock root, believe it or not, is what I've been doing a lot lately, and I started selling that because my customers have coming to me asking for it because it's great for cancer patients. Burdock root. Yeah, it's not on there, but
And then you all know some of the traditional teas: chamomile for sleeping, lavender for relaxation,
Right.
ginger for digestion.
Thank you.
You know some of the mint is also
Ginger
good
is
for
amazing
digestion,
for nausea. Yes.
nausea, and digestion.
So basically, you have to.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much done.
Oh, you done?
Yeah, I just said, if you have questions for me, do you want another one of those? Yeah, I might have to email it, but I don't think I have any more hard copies with me. Let me see, let me see if I have.
So we serve traditional afternoon tea. It's served in 3 courses. And tea, of course, the whole idea of having afternoon tea originated in England. It came from China originally, but then the English adopted it. In England, they take dinner at the fashionably late hour of 8. And so they got hungry between 12 and 8 o'clock. And so the idea of having afternoon tea was to have a little mid-afternoon snack to tide you over. We serve tea the way that it's served traditionally in England in 3 courses, the savory to sweet. The first course is a sandwich course. There's always a cucumber sandwich and then a couple of other sandwiches. Today we're serving cucumber, egg salad, and chicken salads for our savory course. Then the middle course is scones, which are a little biscuit, and we serve them with clotted cream and jam, which are on the table already for you, and lemon curd as well, because I like lemon curd, so that's why we add a lemon curd. And then the third course is the sweet course, which is the dessert course. And so